Hello there, friends. Welcome to the first Forever Classic recommendation. I'm Alex from Forever Classic Games, and this is something that I've been wanting to do for a while, mostly because I've been enjoying it for so long, but I've been playing Dusk on PC, and Dusk is a first-person shooter that wears its inspirations on its sleeve. It's very similar to Quake, Blood, all those classic PC titles, Doom, obviously, and it is just an incredible experience for anybody who's into retro gaming and that kind of stylistic approach to game development today. For starters, just looking at it visually, it uses a low poly effect, so all of the character models and stuff are very simply designed, but everything really flows well together in its level design, and that's something that I think is a huge achievement for this game, because essentially every single level is just a giant maze. It's go here, find the exit, grab the keys, maybe find some secrets along the way, bust up some occultists and wizards, and it flows together so well. Very simple mechanics. You can slide, you've got jumps, the jumps can link together to increase more speed, you can use explosions to launch yourself further, much like rocket jumping in Quake. All of the weapons are very distinct in how they work. A couple weapons are a little redundant. For example, I'm not really a big fan of the two shotguns compared to the super shotgun, but I understand why you might switch, and I'd never really found much use for the dual pistols outside of having nothing else. So once you get a weapon that's different than that, usually you use something else. But every weapon has that distinct feel. You know what you're shooting when you're pulling the trigger. There's no reloading in the game either. There wasn't reloading back in the day either. It's based on the amount of ammo that you have on you. And so instinctively you might press the R key to reload, but in Dusk it does this weird little twirl with your gun, or the crossbow bolt on the crossbow will spin around. And that's mostly for flair, for swag. There's a lot of things you can do just involving swag, so you can be running through at full speed, pop a couple shots here and there, and you can even do a front flip or a back flip with your character, which is very disorienting in first person, and I never quite got the hang of it. But it looks amazing. I don't know if there's a tactical advantage to it much. I guess it would just keep your head moving at all times in multiplayer. But you can do that, and it's really cool. The hitbox is very distinct, so it's really easy to dodge in between shots. It's a bit like a bullet hell in points. There's a couple enemies in specific that shoot this like spiral pattern of skulls. And that's a really cool way to kind of show off just how precise that hitbox is on your character. Story and theming, there's a lot of occult stuff, there's a lot of dark world, in the forest, cabin in the woods kind of such, but there's also a lot of Lovecraft elements at play, and some cosmic horror situations, a lot of fear of the unknown. And don't let the simple graphics fool you either. Sometimes this game is just damn scary. I jumped out of my seat several times, especially with the Wendigo enemies that are invisible and then pop up and make this horrible noise. And there's a couple other enemies that just like will blindside the player. The levels are designed in such a way that it almost always will result in a scare or a surprise, and it's used really well in contrast to like more open areas that are more arena based where you're just prioritizing monsters. It blends really, really well with like the exploration and slower moments, the darker moments. Sometimes the flashlight will be broken and you have to find other ways to make it about through the level. Dusk definitely has some of those horror elements involved. So there's a lot of really solid theming strewn throughout the game's 3 episodes, and it was released episodically, so I played it when the episode first came out, episode 1. I was given a copy to check it out from the developers, and then when episode 2 came out, they're like, hey, now that you've been kind of messing with it and you've done some coverage with it, would you like to take a look at episode 2? So I did something similar. I wrote a feature article for Marooners Rock, and now that episode 3 is out and the game is officially out and finished, they'll probably do a little bit more tweaking here and there, but for the most part, the game is complete. Dusk is a complete package. It's got multiplayer, it's got 3 episodes, it's got an endless mode, so if you like horde mode and just practicing your skills, you can do that. It just feels complete, and it's great because it's only a $20 game. There's no microtransactions in it whatsoever, and it's a solid love letter that also establishes itself as its own thing. And I think the folks at New Blood Interactive have just done a fantastic job. They've got a couple other projects that are interesting to take a look at as well, including a Medieval, which is a bit of a Heretic spiritual successor inspired by Heretic. So I'll be taking a look at that in the future, hopefully. Dusk is available on PC, where it definitely shows its stripes playing with keyboard and mouse, but it's also coming to Switch here soon, so those of you that want to play it on the go on that console, that's going to be coming out pretty soon. So anyways, I just wanted to take a little bit of time that if you're playing a lot of games this holiday season, or if you want to go back over some stuff you might have missed this past year or so, Dusk is a great title. It's only $20. It goes on sale frequently, and it's just fantastic. It's really solid for retro gaming fans, and I think a lot of just PC players in general will have a good time with it. I don't think it's necessarily for everybody because it embodies that Quake design, and that doesn't necessarily mesh well with like the modern first-person shooter fan, but it's a really cool game. Go check out Dusk. This has been a fairly unscripted recommendation from me, so I hope you all enjoy it, and if you enjoy these styles of videos, let us know somewhere on the internet, either through social media or by sending us an email at theforeverclassicpodcast@gmail.com. Keep an eye out for things happening at foreverclassicgames.com. We're going to be posting a lot of different projects there, some written work, our podcast, of course, which is still ongoing. You can find it on all your major podcast suppliers. Thank you for watching today's recommendation. I hope to do more of these sorts of recommendations because I'm constantly being bombarded with interesting projects, and I like to share them with people. If you do check out Dusk, though, let us know in the comments below and tell us what you think about it. Until next time, I'm Alex of Forever Classic Games. As always, stay cool.